Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Relix, and today I have for you guys my NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs 2026 bracket. And if you guys can take a look, we have it. It's finally set. My Kings were the last team to finish. However, their game actually ended up not mattering because the Oilers and the Ducks both won their games respectively, therefore securing their spots in the Pacific Division, leaving the Kings to be the wild card 2, aka the worst of the teams going into the playoffs. Now, that being said, not all hope is lost, of course. Once you get in, you're in, you have a chance, right? So, I don't deny the Kings, looking at the entire thing, right? I will admit, my Kings are probably the weakest team out of everyone. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And Kings fans, you have to agree with me. We may even get our butts whooped by Avalanche, but you know what? There's always a chance, and we may be the weakest team coming in, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a chance. And so, real quick, I'm just gonna go over my bracket for you guys. This is not like the bracket challenge. This is what I expect to see going through the entire Stanley Cup playoffs, whether or not the Kings win or lose. Now, these are my personal preferences in which I believe which teams have higher chances over the other and all that stuff, based on my knowledge of the teams, my hockey knowledge overall of the league, and basically based on performance as well as people who are healthy. So this is not like a full analytic outlook of how the playoffs are supposed to be, but this is just how I feel that it can be matched up. Now, the only thing that I need to mention is the first teams. Okay, we're going to go in order, starting from the Western Conference, going to the Eastern Conference. But the first matchup, my Kings versus the Colorado Avalanche. Okay, regardless of who wins this series, okay, regardless of who wins this series, they pretty much take the place of the other. Okay, so if my Kings somehow magically beat the Avalanche, then they'll go all out. I'm going to have them go all the way as much as I can, because obviously I'm going to root for my team no matter what. But at the same time, if the Kings do lose to the Avalanche, the President Trophy winners, I do see the Avalanche going all the way anyways. So that being said, we're going to start off, boom, Kings. Now again, represents both teams technically speaking. So whoever wins, they represent that spot. But in this case, go my Kings. Not a Naruto jersey, it's a Kings Naruto jersey, by the way, in case. So yeah, as far as the matchup is concerned, yes, I am considering this like a total blowout. I think the Avalanche are going to sweep us in 4, but the way we've been playing, it's been better, right? It's been better going into the final games. Even though we lost, it's been better. So I do hope that the Kings can at least win 1, maybe 2, push the Avalanche to compete, hopefully. But overall, I'm not expecting us to win. We are without Fiala still, Kuzmenko as well. And then, of course, just in general, I don't like our bottom 6. It's very weak compared to other teams. And so I don't feel like we have the depth to basically score enough, yet alone defend enough, because our defense core is it's just atrocious, honestly. Like, best defenseman, probably Clark, then Doughty, and then after that, everyone else kind of just falls back, and it kind of sucks. So I don't think anyone can deny that the Avalanche are probably going to steamroll us, but you never know. Moving on to the second matchup, we have the Dallas Stars versus the Minnesota Wild. I'm going to have to go with the Dallas Stars. I personally think the Wild don't have what it takes to push themselves to the next level. The Stars have a little bit more talent as far as overall is concerned. I also think the Wild have been a little too up and down this season. They had a lot of good moments, then they had a lot of bad moments. Their goaltending is a little bit questionable. Gustafsson actually did pretty decent, but Wallstedt as the backup did not do very well. He had a very good start to the season, but fell off towards the end for sure. As well as the overall forward group, I haven't really heard much from the Wild this, towards the end of the season, so I'm not expecting them to push further. Now, Quinn Hughes has been on a tear this season for sure, especially with the Olympics. Oh my God, he was absolutely amazing. So I don't deny that. With the D core that the Wild have, could prove to be very good. But overall, I do give the slight edge to the Dallas Stars. So that's my opinion. I do look forward to that matchup regardless. And then if they push on to the Kings or Avalanche, that's also would be a really, really, really good matchup between the Stars and the Avalanche. So that would be a really good series to see. Going back down, Pacific Division 1 versus Wild Card 1, the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Utah Mammoth. Mammoth made the playoffs. Oh my God, that's absolutely insane. I cannot believe that. Congratulations to them. However, Vegas is going to win. There's just no denying it. Vegas is probably going to steamroll the Mammoth just as much as the Avalanche is going to steamroll the Kings. And so I honestly cannot say in good faith that the Mammoth have a chance. I'm just being completely honest. I do like some of their players, but I just don't think they have the talent. I don't think they have the skill to outscore the Golden Knights. Maybe goaltending will be slight edge. I think Vejmelka is actually really decent. However, I think the overall team as a whole, the Golden Knights have way better talents, both on the forward and the D. So, unfortunately, Mammoth, you're out. I'm not going to say it's a sweep. Maybe in 5 or 6 games, but definitely not a sweep. And then we got the Pacific Division matchup between the Oilers and the Ducks. So instead of the Kings, the Oilers have the Ducks, another California team. Again, just like us, I gotta put the Oilers ahead of the Ducks. I think the Ducks have definitely made a lot of improvements the past few years, especially with all the young talent that they've been getting, especially this year too. A lot of high-scoring games for them. However, I think the Oilers, if Draisaitl comes back during this first round, it's a no-brainer. I think the Oilers just win straight out. But if Draisaitl needs a few games to come back, or if he doesn't even play at all, could be an interesting matchup. But let's be honest, McDavid just won his 6th Art Ross Trophy. There is no stopping him. And Matt Savoy just got his hat-trick in the last game. McDavid is just so unstoppable right now. Ever since Draisaitl got injured, he's just took the NHL by storm. Like, he's just multi points everywhere. Like, every single game he's getting multiple points, and he just can't stop scoring. Like, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable that to this day we are still questioning how does he do it. And without a doubt, in my opinion, okay, just bold statement, but McDavid is literally, in my opinion, the best NHL player to have ever lived. Even better than the Great One. Like, by the end of his career, he will have done so much for the game of hockey. He will have achieved so much in the game of hockey that, if you were to compare eras, which is impossible to do, but if you did, I really do think McDavid would be on top because of what he has done and what he has accomplished in this modern day and age. So, again, unstoppable right now. And then I think the Oilers just a little bit better performance than the Ducks. Obviously, the drawback is the goaltending and the D-core. I think the goaltending can survive if the defensemen can step up their game. Players like Nurse, who they put so much faith in, he needs to do better. People like him, they need to step up, including the Oilers' bottom 6. They need to really step up if they want to really go deep into the playoff run. But that's what I think. I think the Oilers would definitely pass the Ducks, moving on to the second round. On the east side, we have the Sabres versus the Bruins, and I personally don't see the Bruins going far. Now, that's just based on me. I haven't been able to watch the Bruins this season as much as I would like to. Ever since the ever since the end of Bergeron, Marchand, Krejci, Chara, etc., etc., all those good Bruins. I haven't really been paying close attention to the Bruins as much, but in my opinion, I think the Cinderella season for the Sabres is definitely going to push them farther. Maybe not a sweep, but definitely, probably Game 6, probably maybe even Game 7 against the Bruins. But I definitely see the Sabres definitely winning out in the end. They have a lot of talent on paper, so let's see if that is put into action. Tage Thompson had a really good season again too, so overall I think the Sabres have a little bit more firepower, I should say, that will push them over the edge over the Bruins. The second matchup on the East is the Lightning versus the Canadiens. Oh my goodness, that's, to me, I can't say in any other good faith that the Canadiens have a chance. The Lightning have also been playing a really strong season, and I think they had some rough patches throughout the beginning, but overall they definitely made a good comeback in the rest of the season. And same thing, just like McDavid, I think Kucherov's been doing pretty good. Again, I don't watch the games, but any highlights, any clips I see, it's like, oh my god, Kucherov's there, multi-points. He was in the scoring race as well, and I don't deny that his talent is there. So I think him leading the team, it's the Lightning. They're just going to push for another Stanley Cup, run. It's just how it is, right? That's just how they have been for the past so many years, and I don't think that this is any exception. I think the Canadiens, they did great. I think they did a lot of improvements for the past few years, especially with all the young talent they've been getting, like with Caulfield, Suzuki. Now they have Hudson as well, Demidov, and so on and so forth. But it's just not there yet. Or if anything, maybe not this matchup per se as well. But I do think, next couple years, I definitely see the Canadiens could make the playoff runs every season for the next couple years. But as far as going deep, I just don't see it right now. But that's just my opinion. Next matchup is the Hurricanes and the Senators. This one is a little bit more unknown for me. Personally, I don't know the Senators at all, really, and then of course I don't really watch Hurricanes at all. I don't really like Hurricanes. I hate the Lightning, I hate the Hurricanes. They're two of my most hated teams, but I will give the edge to the Hurricanes. I think overall talent wise, they have more bigger names to me that I know of, and so I think they will definitely have a slight edge going into this playoff matchup. But again, I don't know either team as much, as any other guys, so don't take my word for it. Sorry, Sens fans, I just can't say in good faith that you guys will win. Congratulations on making the playoffs, but I think the Hurricanes, who have been a Stanley Cup contending team, will continue to, press forward into at least the next round. But then the last matchup is the Penguins and the Flyers. I have the Penguins going over the Flyers. That's just me personally. I do like the Penguins more, so it might be a little bit biased, but I think Crosby has had a phenomenal season once again. My God, it's like he just never gets old. And then followed by the team staying healthy overall. Their big names at least. I think they had a much better season than they have been in the past few, and I think this is a chance that they can push a little bit deeper into the playoffs, at least surpassing the Flyers for sure, but maybe not the next round. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll have to see. Depends on how banged up they are, I suppose. And then of course the goaltending too. I think the goaltending is also a huge question mark. But overall, Penguins over Flyers, no brainer for me at least. Yeah. And then we move on to the second round of the Western Conference. Again, Kings and Avalanche. Switch whichever way, right? Whoever wins. But again, I gotta root for my Kings, even though I do think they're gonna lose to the Avalanche. Kings versus the Dallas Stars. Again, I'm going to vote for my Kings. It is what it is. If not the Kings, the Avalanche will win over the Stars. I think the Avalanche have proven they're a really, really tough team to beat. Not just President Trophy winners, but just overall, the talent is just up and down the lineup. Like, it's just unbelievable how, they can't even afford all those those guys. And I think the Avalanche have that edge, regardless if it's the Kings or the Avs. I think playing the Stars, I think the Kings have a slight advantage, playing a more defensive and physical game. I don't really see the Stars being a physical team. I could be wrong, but I think the Kings have a slight edge in the playoff format over the Stars. But talent-wise, obviously the Stars have a little bit more. So if the Kings can provide enough goaltending and enough defense here and there, I'm sure the offense will come with it as well, especially if we get the power play going. But overall, I do think the Kings do have a much better chance against the Stars than they do against the Avalanche. That's if they make it past the first round. And again, vice versa, I do think the Avalanche would easily beat the Stars as well. So that's my vote. Moving into the second round of the Pacific side, we got Golden Knights and Oilers. This one's a little bit more tougher. This one, I have no doubt, would even reach a Game 7. Like, these two, in my opinion, are just so evenly matched that it could go either way. I think the Golden Knights are really tough, but I think McDavid, it also depends if Draisaitl is healthy, but I really do think that the Oilers have a slight edge again over the Golden Knights because of overall talent. I think the Golden Knights have a lot up and down, but I don't think they're tough enough for a playoff format versus the Oilers. The Oilers have proven that they can make it to the Stanley Cup final a few years now in a row. So I think overall they do have more of the potential to make it back to the Stanley Cup final, if not the Western Conference, over the Golden Knights. But again, like I said, this could go either way. It's just too evenly matched. Game 7 for sure for these two. But again, I am expecting a Kings-Oilers matchup in the Western Conference final again. Not again, but like a matchup against each other again. No doubt about that for me. And if not, again, like I said, it would be the Avalanche versus the Oilers. Going back to the East side for the second round, Sabres versus Lightning. This right here is like the equivalent to me. The equivalent of the Golden Knights and Oilers. Can the Sabres' Cinderella season continue on as the top team versus the Lightning? The Lightning, to me, have been proven to be one of the best teams, obviously, the past few years. Can the Sabres still continue to outdo them? I don't know. That's an interesting matchup, to be sure. Without a doubt, I will be paying close attention to that matchup because I'm curious to know if the Sabres have what it takes to move to the next round. But overall, I think the Lightning are still going to make it through. They just know how to do it, right? They just know how to do it. And then, I think the Sabres, I think this is probably a good start for the Sabres, right? If they can keep this up going to future seasons, great. I think they do have a chance to eventually push forward, but right now the Lightning and their core players are just too good to overcome, and I think maybe in the next couple years, Lightning will eventually die out as far as playoff contention, but for now, I think they're still at the top 5 teams in the league, in my opinion, still. So there you go. Lightning move on to the conference final. And then, of course, the Hurricanes and Penguins matchup. I have to go with the Hurricanes. Sure, the Penguins can make it past the first round, but again, most of the players are getting older. I don't think anyone can deny that. I think the Penguins are one of the older teams, if I'm not mistaken. So that alone, I think, is going to play a part. I think the Penguins are going to be too worn down, too tired. And even though they have Crosby, and I think if they stay healthy as well, I still think the Avalanche's younger talent has a slight edge. They just will outplay them, outskate them, probably score more goals. I think the goaltending overall from the Hurricanes is much better than the Penguins as well. So that's why I had to go with the Hurricanes. Even though I don't like them, I do think They have way better talent up and down the lineup compared to the Penguins. So, unfortunately, that's the way it goes. And then, of course, the conference final from the Western side, we have the Kings versus the Oilers, or Avalanche versus the Oilers, but Kings versus Oilers. And this one's going to be interesting, but obviously, I got to choose my Kings. If I really had to pick, though, right, if the Kings are out, I think I would choose the Avalanche to still come out on top over the Oilers, unfortunately. I love McDavid. I love the Oilers, playing out this kind of matchup, but I think the Avalanche have proven that they can take this all the way. President Trophy or not, they got it. I think they could definitely match it up. Otherwise, the Kings versus Oilers, I think perhaps the Kings actually may have an edge. Maybe. If the players on the Kings can play to a much more physical level than we have been playing in the playoffs the past few years, I definitely think the Kings can actually beat the Oilers, because that's not our style before. But under coach DJ Smith, the Kings have been way more physical, and I think if that carries in onto this matchup versus the Oilers, we will win. Because that, to me, was one of the reasons why the Oilers always won the games versus the Kings in the past. It's because they were way more physical than the Kings, and the Kings were just pushovers. This time, we're not. I think this time we have the physicality capability, and therefore we will be able to punish them. We'll be able to defend a little bit better, and hopefully the goaltending will manage just enough to give us a advantage to score here or there, right? So that's my opinion. And then, of course, like I said, if it's not the Kings, then the Avalanche. Again, the talent's just way above the Oilers right now. I really want to see McDavid win a Stanley Cup. I really do. McDavid and Draisaitl. But regardless if it's the Kings or the Avalanche, I think either team can actually beat the Oilers this year, just the way it is right now. But, of course, that's yet to be seen. And then, of course, the Eastern side, we have the Lightning. Again, I've been singing their praises this whole time. The past few years, the Lightning's just been on top, and I think it's going to continue that way. Now, again, I don't really watch the Eastern teams, especially the two teams I hate the most, the Lightning and the Hurricanes. I'm not going to really care which team wins, to be honest. But if I had to pick one, I think the Lightning have a talent edge over the Hurricanes as far as what I know. Hence the reason why I choose the Lightning. But of course, at the end of the day, I'm still choosing the Kings to win it. I'm still choosing the Avalanche, if not the Kings, to win it over the Lightning. So there you go. This is my Stanley Cup bracket for 2026. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree with what I had to say? Again, like I said, Kings or Avalanche, whichever wins that series, wins the whole thing. I think, overall, I think both teams will push each other to be better and eventually win the whole thing. And, if the Avalanche do end up winning the Stanley Cup, it's like, oh, look, break the President's Trophy curse, right? You win the President's Trophy, you're not going to win. But hopefully, for them, that's not the case, and they do end up going all the way. But of course, I do think the Kings have a slight, not really, sliver of chance to actually win the Stanley Cup. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and do you guys agree with my opinions on the certain matchups? Specifically, obviously, you guys, if you guys are watching me, you might be even Kings fans. Let me know, Kings fans. Do you agree with what I had to say? Do you guys feel the same way? Because let's not sugarcoat it, right? The Kings barely squeaked in, and do you really think we can beat the #1 team in the league right now? I don't think so. But again, once you get in the playoffs, everything changes, right? So hopefully that is literally the case. The parity of the league, right? Any team can be great, but we'll see. We will see. Hockey starts tomorrow on Saturday, so hopefully we get to see really good matchups. But yeah, Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But if you enjoyed this, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be covering my Kings games only, as far as game reviews, like I have been for the past few years. So don't expect me to really cover anything else. If there is something else to cover that is kind of, there for me to look over, then I will. But for the most part, I will be covering the Kings, and as far as they can go, at least. And then, of course, if not, then maybe even the Oilers, because if the Kings don't win it, I am rooting for the Oilers to win it all after that. Because I do, like I said, I want to see McDavid and Draisaitl win a Stanley Cup. And I think the past few years, including even this year, these are their best times. They're not going to be able to keep doing this forever. And I think if they're not going to win it in the next couple years, they might not win it at all. But we'll see. We will see. So that's it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. And go Kings, go. 2026 Stanley Cup Playoffs start now. All right. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.